Hello, book lovers, and thanks for listening. I post new chapters every week. If you like my work, please remember to like and subscribe to help me build my channel. The Stillwater Girls by Minka Kent. Narrated by Jennifer Schafer. Chapter 27. Wren. Cut it off, I tell the pretty lady as she drapes a black smock around my chest and shoulders and ties it behind my neck. It's loud in here, and bright, and it smells like 100 different kinds of those essential oils Mama would line her dresser with. Bottles upon bottles, all with paper labels and Mama's handwriting. Tuberose, gardenia, pink pepper, eucalyptus, lemongrass, orange blossom, all of it. Our eyes catch in the mirror, and the woman runs her fingers through the wave-like bands from the French braid Nicolette placed in my wet hair this morning. "Are you sure?" she asks, biting her lip before looking to Nicolette, who's standing off to the side with my sister. "You have such beautiful hair." "I'm sure." I sit taller, straighter, chin pointed as I stare at my reflection. Mama let us cut our hair about once a year, and even then she never allowed it to be above the middle of our backs. "My darling's long hair suits you better," she would say, snipping at our fraying ends, and ever so often repositioning our heads. "It only accentuates your natural beauty." The more I'm around Nicolette, the more I see how controlling Mama was all these years. We never had any kind of a say in what we wore, what we ate, what time we went to bed, or how we kept our hair. But with Nicolette, every decision is only ours. There's freedom in the way she lives. She's not bound to anyone or anything. There are no silly rules, no irrational logic, no need to question anything. If she wants to do something, she does it, and that's all there is to it. If Mama were here, I'd ask her why she wouldn't cut our hair. I can't imagine it had much to do with protecting us from the evil she claimed lurked in a place that has, so far, treated us with nothing but kindness. "Why don't we take it to here?" The lady with the comb places her flattened palm at my shoulders. "Then you could still wear it up if you wanted." "That'll be fine," I say. The woman leads me back to a chair attached to a wash basin, and she tells me she's going to shampoo me. A moment later, a stream of warm water rains down my scalp, followed by the subtle scent of flowers as her fingertips massage my scalp. It's almost how Mama used to do it, only Mama was never this gentle, and the water was always cold by the time she got to me. She'd always use the warm water on the younger ones, saying they needed it more than I did. The woman wraps a towel around my head and leads me back to her chair, taking her time combing it out before the first snip is made. I squeeze my eyes shut at first, though I'm not sure why, and by the time I open them, I'm surrounded in the kind of lightness I've never known. Sage hasn't looked up from the booklet Nicolette gave her, carefully selecting her hairstyle. As the woman rubs lotions throughout my damp strands that smell nothing like the coconut salve Mama used on us, I can't help but think about Evie, where she is, what she's doing, if Mama's filling her head with the same old lies. And that's exactly what they were, lies. Our entire life was a lie, and if it wasn't, then nothing around me makes sense. Mama's stories aren't adding up. On the way here, I saw people walking dogs, unbothered by the cold and waving to one another with gloved hands and colorful knit scarves and hats. They seemed happy to be outside, happy to see one another, smiling and exchanging hellos. I also saw houses beside houses, shops beside shops, cars parked all along the sidewalks. When Mama would talk about her childhood, she'd mention those things, but she'd talk like they weren't around anymore. that the world was a sick and twisted place and there was nothing left but the ruins of a beautiful place that once was and never would be again. The lady grabs a small black machine and clicks a button on the side. In an instant, a burst of hot air blows hair into my face. After a few minutes, my eyelids become like weights on my face. I could fall asleep right here in this chair. Everything feels so good, and I don't know why. What do you think about this one, Ren? Sage taps my shoulder, shoving the booklet at me and pointing to a photo of a girl with blonde hair just past her shoulders and fringe along her forehead that stops at her eyebrows. I think that would look lovely on you, the lady says over the loud hum of her machine. Excellent choice. Tonight I'm going to take one of those bubble baths Nicolette was telling us about last night, and I might even borrow one of the books from her library. I pulled a few fiction novels earlier today before we left for the clothing store. I couldn't stop staring at their vivid covers and breathing in the clean scent of their crisp ivory pages. They weren't musky, with spines so cracked you could hardly read the lettering. They were little works of art, and there were hundreds of them, all lined up neatly in a bookcase as wide as her wall, spanning from the floor to the ceiling. I'm going to read them all. The woman clicks the machine off, and the blanket of heat that surrounds me is quickly replaced with cool air. She reaches for another piece of equipment, this one long and slender, and she begins running it over the length of my hair, section by section, letting each strand return to my shoulders with a gentle fall. From beneath the apron that covers my shoulders, I lift a hand to my hair, gliding my palm over my silken locks. With all this shine, my hair looks more golden than ever, and I can't stop studying my reflection. I do that a lot now that there are mirrors everywhere I go. That's another thing. People love their mirrors here. They're in bathrooms and bedrooms, hallways and cars. Some women even carry them in their bags everywhere they go. We only ever had one, and we hung it above the wash basin. Mama mostly used it when she was doing her hair, but for the most part we had no use for it. I always knew what I looked like, but it wasn't something I concerned myself with or thought about too often. But the last couple of days, every time I pass a mirror, I can't help but stop and stare, studying my features and still wondering why I don't have a single one in common with Mama. I picture my bright yellow hair next to her wavy dark blonde locks, my hooded eyelids next to her prominent dusky blue gaze. Mama had a strong jawline, a German jaw, as she always called it, and everything from her brow line to her chin was defined, chiseled almost. My face is quite round in shape, my features all soft and smooth compared to hers. I never told Mama, but every once in a while, in those false memories, as she called them, there was a woman who wasn't my Mama, but looked at me like she was. She had the same saffron gold hair as I do, though hers was curly, and when she smiled there was a gap between her front teeth. I've seen that woman in my dreams so many times I could probably sketch her from memory. Nicolette, I asked. Yes, sweetheart? Do you think we could order some paper and pencils from your supply man? Her mouth rises at the sides. Of course. Actually, there's a place down the street that sells them. We'll stop there as soon as we leave. Tonight, I'm going to try. End of chapter 27.